feat that had always been regarded as impossible. The operation of the Pony Express was a supreme achievement of physical endurance on the part of man and his ever-faithful companion, the horse. The history of this organization should be a lasting monument to the physical sacrifice of man and beast in an effort to accomplish something worthwhile. Its history should be an enduring tribute to American courage and American organizing genius. The fall of Fort Sumter in April 1861 did not produce the Civil War crisis. For many months, the gigantic struggle then imminent had been painfully discernible to far-seeing men. In 1858, Lincoln had forewarned the country in his House Divided speech. As early as the beginning of the year 1860, the Union had been plainly in jeopardy. Early in February of that momentous year, Jefferson Davis, on behalf of the South, had introduced his famous resolutions in the Senate of the United States. This document was the ultimatum of the dissatisfied slave-holding commonwealths. It demanded that Congress should protect slavery throughout the domain of the United States. The territories, it declared, were the common property of the states of the Union, and hence open to the citizens of all states with all their personal possessions. The northern states, furthermore, were no longer to interfere with the working of the Fugitive Slave Act. They must repeal their personal liberty laws and respect the Dred Scott decision of the federal Supreme Court. Neither in their own legislatures nor in Congress should they trespass upon the right of the South to regulate slavery as it best saw fit. These resolutions, demanding in effect that slavery be thus safeguarded, almost to the extent of introducing it into the free states, really foreshadowed the Democratic platform of 1860, which led to the great split in that party, the victory of the Republicans under Lincoln, the subsequent secession of the more radical Southern states, and finally the Civil War, for it was inevitable that the North, when once aroused, would bitterly resent such pro-slavery demands. And this great crisis was only the bursting into flame of many smaller fires that had long been smoldering. For generations the two sections had been drifting apart. Since the middle of the 17th century, Mason and Dixon's line had been a line of real division separating two inherently distinct portions of the country. By 1860, then, war was inevitable. Naturally, the conflict would at once present intricate military problems, and among them the retention of the Pacific coast was of the deepest concern to the Union. Situated at a distance of nearly 2,000 miles from the Missouri River, which was then the nation's western frontier, this intervening space comprised trackless plains, almost impenetrable ranges of snow-capped mountains, and parched alkali deserts. And besides these barriers of nature, which lay between the west coast and the settled eastern half of the country, there were many fierce tribes of savages who were usually on the alert to oppose the movements of the white race through their dominions. California, even then, was the jewel of the Pacific. Having a considerable population, great natural wealth, and unsurpassed climate and fertility, she was jealously desired by both the North and the South. To the South, the acquisition of California meant enhanced prestige, involving, as it would, the occupation of a large area whose soils and climate might encourage the perpetuation of slavery. It meant a rich possession which would afford her a strategic base for waging war against her northern foe. It meant a romantic field in which opportunity might be given to organize an allied republic of the Pacific, a power which would, perchance, forcibly absorb the entire Southwest and a large section of northern Mexico. By thus creating counter-forces, the South would effectively block the federal government on the western half of the continent. The North also desired the prestige that would come from holding California.